Although now a respectable public house, some believe it holds echoes of a sinister past.
Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 most haunted places in Britain.
Tower of London is famous for being the place where prisoners lost their head.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we'll be looking at some UK locations notorious for sinister sightings and things that go bump in the night. Have you ever seen a ghost? Tell us the tale in the comments below. Number 10. Duntelham Castle Ruins, the Isle of Skye. This ruined castle rises from the rugged coastline of Trotternish, Skye's most northerly peninsula. The last living inhabitants of the castle, the MacDonald clan, were reportedly driven out by the spirits in 1730. At night, it is said you can hear a woman's screams amidst the ruins. This is believed to be the ghost of a housemaid who dropped her young charge from a high window and paid the price for her tragic mistake. Her voice is sometimes joined by the wails of Margaret, the spirit of a woman rejected by her husband. In the courtyard, the ghost of Donald Gormore wrestles with phantom enemies. His foe, Hugh MacDonald, haunts the dungeons, where he met his death by starvation. Number 9. The Drovers Inn, West Dunbartonshire. Travelling down to the mainland, the Drovers Inn not far from Loch Lomond may be worth a stopover if you're feeling brave enough. Guests at the inn have often borne witness to ghostly happenings. You might hear the screams of a murdered Georgian man, Angus the Drover, on his nightly walkabout. And don't be surprised if you wake to find a spectral family waving down at you, or spot a deceased regular sitting by the fireside. If you're easily spooked, perhaps avoid room 6. Overnight guests have often felt the presence of a drowned child, icy cold to the touch, and laid beside them in bed. Number 8. Whitby Abbey, Yorkshire. As the setting for Bram Stoker's Dracula, it's not surprising that this northern seaside town has a sinister reputation. St. Mary's Churchyard reportedly plays host to a traditional horse-drawn hearse, lit by torches and driven by a headless coachman. A crowd of spectral mourners complete the picture. The apparition is said to appear whenever a sailor from the town is buried within the grounds of the churchyard. On the cliff above, Whitby Abbey remains the favourite haunt of its founder, St. Hilda, who has been spotted in an upper window. But if you hear a cry for help, that may be the spirit of Constance de Beverley, a young nun once bricked up inside the abbey walls. Number 7. Ancient Ram Inn, Watton-under-Edge, Gloucestershire. Nestled in the heart of Gloucestershire, this 12th century inn was built where two ley lines meet, on the site of a possible pagan burial ground. Visitors have often reported over 20 different apparitions, from a witch burned at the stake to a mounted Roman centurion.
Family home since the 1960s, evidence suggests that this was a pagan burial site, the scene of both witchcraft and human sacrifice.
The ghost of a monk regularly haunts the bishop's room and has driven out guests in the middle of the night.
Heavy footsteps have been heard walking across the floor when there's no one here.
You may hear the wailing of a priestess or encounter a lost little girl in the basement. But you better watch out for the succubus, who's been known to push guests onto the bed.
Front room. This is where John Humphreys has been attacked several times by the incubus and succubus.
Number 6. Skird Mountain Inn, Monmouthshire. In the shadow of Skird Mountain stands the oldest inn in Wales. A pleasant stop for an afternoon drink, but a frightening place to spend the night if you're attuned to the paranormal. The upper floor was once a courtroom where over the years 182 people were condemned to death by hanging.
182 people lost their lives to the hangman's noose.
The sentences were carried out on the stairs of the inn, and you can still see the marks from the rope scored into the hanging beam.
People have found rope burn marks around their necks where previously there were no marks at all.
It seems as if some nasty spirits have been left behind. Guests have woken in the night feeling like they've been strangled. One woman even fled her room with wet hair, screaming that an unseen presence had held her underwater in the bath.
She was really distressed, absolutely hysterical.
Number 5. Treasurer's House, Yorkshire. Treasurer's House is a National Trust property in Yorkshire, dating from the 12th century. But the spirits that haunt the place are even older. Harry Martindale was 18 when he was called out to fix the boiler in the cellars of the house. Imagine his surprise when a trumpet sounded and a stream of Roman soldiers, looking rather tired and dirty, marched straight through the cellar wall.
And I saw that a figure had come out of the wall. What I was looking at was the top of a helmet.
The engineer fled upstairs where he met the curator of the house. Taking one look at his face, the man guessed, "By the look of it, you've seen the Romans." This is just one example among many sightings of the soldiers. Archaeologists have since discovered that the cellar floor is built 18 inches above an old Roman road.
And the Roman road runs 18 feet below ground.
Number 4. Pluckley, Kent. According to the Guinness Book of Records, the sleepy village of Pluckley is the most haunted in England. There have been reported sightings of 14 different ghosts. You may catch a glimpse of the old schoolmaster who was found hanging in his rooms and now haunts the school grounds. Or hear the screaming man who met his untimely death at the brickworks.
Are you the screaming man who haunts these woods? I'm going to take a picture, and I request that you show yourself in front of my camera.
The woods are supposedly full of phantoms, as is the local pub, where the dogs bark at unseen figures and avoid one of the upstairs rooms.
Even the dog has got her suspicions. She doesn't like going up the stairs.
A spectral carriage has also been seen trundling down the village main street.
And then it just disappeared into the night. I mean, I've heard of Pluckley being haunted, but until we actually see that, I didn't really believe it until then.
Number 3. Pendle Hill, Lancashire. In 1612, 10 women were accused of practicing witchcraft during the notorious Pendle witch trials. They were sentenced at Lancaster Castle and put to death on Gallows Hill, high above the town.
The day after the trial, the 10 convicted prisoners were brought to a place still known as Gallows Hill.
It's said that their presence and an abiding feeling of anger can still be felt in the surrounding area of Pendle. Separated from the Bowland Fells by the River Ribble, Pendle Hill is dotted with small villages and farmsteads. But locals are wary of the hill at night, where ghostly figures have allegedly been spotted. The hill's summit is also the site of an ancient Bronze Age burial ground, so perhaps the alleged witches are not the only restless spirits in this lonely place. Number 2. The Tower of London. It's not surprising that this historical place of execution is thought to house its fair share of ghosts.
And was originally built as a fortress for the king. But it's torture and executions that make this castle so haunted.
In the tower's grim heyday, many memorable figures traveled through Traitor's Gate to live out their final days. It may have been months or years, but the end was usually the same, an appointment with the executioner. There are at least 13 ghosts thought to haunt the former palace. Across the ages, some have claimed to see the phantom forms of Anne Boleyn and the murdered princes. But more sinister are the unknown apparitions. The white figure on Tower Green, the faceless young woman in the Salt Tower, and the nameless thing that stalks the guards as they walk their rounds.
Ghost stories or Victorian melodrama? Who knows?
Number 1. Culloden Moor, near Inverness. On the 16th of April 1746, the Battle of Culloden Moor saw the slaughter of Bonnie Prince Charlie's army. The massacre of the Jacobites was followed by a brutal crackdown, and life for the Highlanders was never the same. Some say that the dead don't rest, even now. On the anniversary of the battle, the sounds of the fighting are said to be heard across the moor. Many visitors to the site have reported seeing a tartan-clad figure who speaks of defeat when approached. There have also been reports of a ghostly wounded Highlander. The area surrounding the graves is also ominously silent, or so it is claimed. The birds don't sing, and a sense of tragedy echoes down the years. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojoUK, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.